Since the beginning of time, when humans had a wish, a problem, a desire, or hope, they have turned their thoughts to communicate with a source outside of their conscious mind, whether that be thought of as a god, goddess, Allah, Buddha, saints, angels, the stars, the planets, nature. And they've done this in expectation that a solution, an answer to whatever it is that they are wanting, desiring, needing, will be forthcoming. This could be in a way of a prayer, a spell, incantation, mantra, singing, chanting, and writing. If these tools, powerful and ancient alchemical communication tools for transformation and guidance, if they're used properly, they will absolutely bring a result. They also are used to change the brain waves, as science has found out more and more as we've moved through our times. So whomever and whatever you believe is your spiritual connection, the true importance is the clarity of your mind and the heartfelt sincerity, which will anchor you and finding a solution. It will anchor you and you will find yourself connected more deeply than you had thought of before. Looking at how do we use what we consider is our spiritual communication in a way that actually feels connected, and we have this heartfelt connection and this mental clarity that we are making contact. Components in each of whatever form, spiritual form we're speaking about, prayer, spells, affirmations, mantras, all of these are in every single one of them. Conscious decision. You have made a conscious decision that you are going to make communication. You're going to begin to look at contact and make communication with whichever source. So we already say, I'm not going to decide your source. I don't think any of you are wrong. You have the source that you're comfortable with, and that's the name you want, and I think that's great. Connect to an outside source. They all compose of connecting to an outside source other than your conscious mind. That you may go into your unconscious mind. And as a Rosicrucian, we talk about the master within. It's the same as psychology. Psychology says to us, okay, well, you're going to, you can figure out anything that you have. You know what it is. You know the answer. You know the solution. The idea is that you come out of your conscious mind of thinking and you go deeper within yourself. And if your belief is that you connect with a divine all, a deity of some kind, then that is your belief. Focus. That you will find as we speak how focused you must be in order to really have that communication with your divine, with your divinity, the all. Words, the kind of words that you use, how you express yourself, very important. And again, we'll look at examples of that. Energy. When you make this conscious decision and you're connecting to your source and you are focused and you use words, you have created a vibration. You have created an energy. Mentally, emotionally, physically, and certainly within the heavens. Telepathic communication. How is this done? People say all the time, well, I'm talking to God, or I'm in the cosmic energies, I'm out in nature, I'm looking at a tree, I'm looking at the sky. What is happening is telepathic communication. You are connecting and you are sending and receiving. Well, we hope we're receiving, right? That's the idea. How to strengthen your practice. You must be sincere. You must say that, yeah, I really believe that this is what I want to do. I really believe that this is my truth. I have faith. I feel positive. Many people that have a problem and are connected to a spiritual being, because we are human, by the way, and I do it myself. I never teach anything or say anything that I haven't experienced myself. And that is that we lose faith. We think we're not being heard. We think that for some reason we're not good enough, or God didn't grant it to us, or the cosmic energy isn't hearing us. You have to have faith. And sometimes that takes some real deep breathing and calming yourself. Like I had to have faith that my slideshow was actually going to work. I had one before and it didn't work, so I had faith. Emotional connection. You must be willing to come from your heart and connect emotionally. Commit willingness to be engaged. Your role. What is your role in connecting to a divine entity, to connecting to the all-intelligence, the one divinity? What is your role in that? Well, your role is more than only asking for someone else or some other connection, being, source, to fix something. You must be engaged. You must be willing to do what has to be done in order that your worry or your problem or your wish manifests in your life. A dedicated and consistent spiritual practice, not a hit and miss, not a, I think I'll do this occasionally, except there is an exception here, and we'll see what that exception is. So really a dedicated, committed practice. Repetition. You're going to repeat what you're doing because you're going to keep that rhythm going. The vibration, the consistency, the rhythm. And all of these really have an enormous amount of importance. So let us pray. What I'd like you to do now is I'd like you to think, recently, if you've had a prayer, a need, a wish that you wanted to say, dear God, oh goddess of my heart, great divine cosmic intelligence, however you want to say it. What has that been? Have you had a recent prayer? Maybe the prayer came today. Take note of that. Think about it. Perhaps you want to take a note and maybe jot it down. Well, recently I've been praying for guidance or healing or help or a red Corvette. I don't know. You know, only you can decide what you pray for. There's no one that can tell you. There's no too small a prayer and too big a prayer. Prayers are prayers. There's probably no religious practice so generally accepted as prayer. Prayers can be very powerful. I am a true believer in prayer. I really am. You can pray solely. You can have group prayers. Group prayers can be so powerful. I have read medical people, medical doctors, nurses come out and say, well, this patient was dying or doing no good. Then their church or group of their friends or relatives, whatever, prayed for them. And oh my God, they started getting better. So I am a very strong believer in prayer. Prayer has positive, powerful results when you really are dedicated to it and you come from your heart, mentally, emotionally, physically, and celestial energy. That's how much prayers get going, that vibration and that beautiful energy within you. And I certainly know if any of you are a person that prays, you know what I'm speaking about, that energy that comes. Now, how do people pray? Well, people often pray in the way that it's a petition. They're going to ask this great divine cosmic intelligence, this almighty God, they're going to say, you know, your will be done. What do I know? Or, I'm not worthy, but just in case you think I might be, this is what I'm praying for. I learned a long time ago in grammar school, I went to parochial school, I learned that we have free will. So to me, I believe that when I pray, this comes back to do everything humanly possible, be willing to engage, that we are co-creating, that I'm not relying only on a source outside of myself to fix it. Now, I may come in time of really dire need. I may say, I just don't have an answer. I have said, let go and let God. I couldn't, I was exhausted. I would fall down in the bed. I'd say, I can't do this anymore. Please, I can't do this anymore. And calming myself, meditating, some kind of awakening or awareness would happen, actually within a short period of time. So you are worthy to be heard. You are worthy to receive information back. Do not say you are not worthy or it's only God's will. Well, I can't get it, it's God's will. That's like saying, well, it's my karma. And if you took my karma class, you know what I have to say about that. You can create, finish, heal karma. Some people pray for what they learned as a child. Now, in most Christian religions, and certainly, I mean, probably all Christian religions and Catholicism, that we say the Our Father who art in heaven. Hail Mary, full of grace. So, but sometimes what happens when we say those prayers we learned is we do it by rote. We lose that connection with them. I think you can make your own prayers, personally myself. Now, some people only pray when they're in dire need. I haven't been to church, and that's okay. I'm not pushing church or anything. I'm not pushing anything religiously or spiritually, but they only pray when they're in dire need of something. Well, you don't have to just pray then. Some people only pray when they're so happy, I'm going to give a prayer to God. Something wonderful happened. I got that red Corvette. I met this wonderful person. I got this job. Thank you, God. Well, that's good. That's good too. What I say is pray every day. People start praying, they go, tell you what, God, I really wish you would heal me. And if you do, I will go to church. Now, I may not be able to go every Sunday, or, maybe you go to a mosque, or you go to something else Saturday. But I tell you what, you get me better and I'll do something for you. The bartering prayer. Forget about it. Prayer. How are we going to pray to really, really be heard? Opening salutation, a greeting. Just like you greet a person, you want a physical person, you want to greet that non-physical being. As though that non-physical being is with you in the room. You could say salutations, greeting, like greeting, O divine, dear God, hello. You're letting this energy, this source of spiritual energy, you're letting that energy know that you are engaging with the energy. So you start out with a greeting. Now, there's many ways and many greetings. I do a greeting. I say, oh, great, intelligent, cosmic energy. The salutation to the ones who are beyond the world, peaceful, independent, and radiant. These are my daily salutations. Make sure that they all know that I'm engaging with them. So think about that. Look at your prayer and think about making a connection through a greeting to that prayer. Then you show gratitude. You say, oh, great Goddess, thank you so much for the love I have experienced in my life. Thank you so much for the health of my partner, the health of my children, my grandchildren. Thank you for letting me go out into nature and still be able to see the beauty regardless of what's going on. Thank you for all the benefits I have. You don't have to go on and on unless you want to. There's times where I had to do that gratitude prayer and I was not in a very good mood and I wasn't feeling very well and I had to dig deep. All right, thank you, I could still talk. Thank you, I could still read without my glasses at times. I mean, it sounds silly, but it's saying I'm still grateful. Then you get to, what's the focus of your prayer? What are you asking for? What is it that you want? So think about that. I called you in. Here I am. I'm really happy we're connected. Thank you for what I have. And now the focus of my prayer. Let me get to it. I really am in dire straits financially, oh great divine one. Something has to come up. Something has to happen. You could say what I think could work out. I believe it's a job that pays well enough for me to be able to support myself. So you get to it. Now remember, you've taken my telepathy classes before, those that have, and what I say is telepathic messages need to be short and sweet and simple, direct words. What are we talking about and why are we talking about it? Now look at your prayer if you have written it down or if it's in your mind. Look at that. Think about it. Are you direct? You don't need to explain everything to God or divine or the goddess or the almighty of all, Allah. You don't have to. That's already known. Keep your words simple, direct. It's a telepathic communication. You want to be heard. And when you begin those, I'm not good enough and I don't know how and this is happening and I didn't like what my friend said and then my sister went over here and did this. What happens in that message? Be focused. Affirm your belief. Now, this is coming to the end of the prayer. And you're going to say, I know that you are hearing me. I know that we are engaged here. So that's very important. I believe that you are going to give me a symbol, a message of some kind. I know this is going to happen. I have faith in this. And it might take time. You know, not all prayers are, you know, the divine doesn't hurry up and get to you right away. Sometimes it takes some time. You have to go through your own transformation. Remember we talked about transformation. Your own transformation. And when you are confirming and affirming your beliefs, you're beginning to match an energy to that solution or that answer. You're starting to match that energy. You're saying, wow, I believe this could happen. I believe that I'm going to have the solution. And what I suggest to you is image it. See the results of what you're praying for. Imagine it. Visualize it. However you want to do. Spells aren't for everybody. And everybody are not for spells. Now, what do I mean by that? That means that not everybody wants to do a spell and they misunderstand spells. There are certain people that believe that spells are evil and people that do them are evil. And, you know, I can't say that every single person that does a spell is not evil. I mean, I don't know. There could be. I have met, oh God, hundreds of people that do spells at different events at different places. I have yet to come across one that I felt like, whoa, you know, it's the same with prayers. You know, I've had people say to me, yeah, I pray they fail. And I'm like, what? What are you doing out there with that? Not everybody, spells aren't for everybody in the way that there are people that really don't follow the particular preparation and rituals, and they think prayers don't work. So the spells don't work. Do prayers always work? No, they don't always work. Do spells always work? No. So this is a little simple book that I use. Used them over the years. I like her. She's got some nice things in her book. She's, you know, how does she invoke, you know, her energy? What does she say? With the concepts of Mercury and the healing power of the sun as an example. She may say something like, I call in the power of Jupiter to expand my mind. She talks about the days you do spells, Sunday for creativity, different days for healing, for finances. So this is not a bad little book. It's actually very positive. It's one of the books I use. I use other books, like I've used Z Budapest book for years. You know, the grandmother time. This is another book that I've used. You may have other spells. Sometimes when we begin a spell, it's easier to use spells that are already written down because, you know, just to get the feel of what we're doing in a spell. You can make, in time, you'll make up your own spells like I do. You know, I used to do more spells. I rarely do spells anymore. I'm living the kind of life I have wanted to live. I may do a gratitude spell, certainly on certain anniversaries, you know, like the solstice or the equinox and whatever. I will lay out my altar and do some spells. Spell, first you want to say, why are you going to do a spell? You know, what's your purpose? Why do you think you could do a spell? The difference between a spell and a prayer. A prayer has wording that is different. Spells are very direct. You're not really asking for permission. You're not really asking that someone else is going to do it for you. You are saying, this is what I'm creating. This is what's going to happen from that creation. This is what I want. They're very direct. That's the difference. You're saying, I'm going to do this, and this is how I'm doing it. You have to decide on that spell. Why do you want to do a spell? What is this spell for? What kind of outcome do you want? You have to have the appropriate spell. That takes time. So unless you are really educating yourself in how spells work, your spell is not going to be very powerful. You do have to gain knowledge. You do have to educate yourself. Preparation. Oh, there's a lot of preparation that goes on for a spell, because you have to gather. You know, you gather the right flowers. You gather the right incense. And we know aromatherapy. So you've got oils and incense. So you've got aromatherapy going. It's physical. Spells are very sensual. We acknowledge, those of us that do spells, we acknowledge being a physical, sensual, sexual being. And we're happy with that. You know, you get pagans, you get Wiccans. Now, do all people in goddess religion and all Wiccans do spells? No. But, you know, eventually they probably do some kind of spell. Do witches do spells? Yes, we do spells. We don't have a problem doing a spell. We like our spells. And so you gather herbs, incense, your favorite crystal, some sort of magical object that you believe has magic to you. A lot to gather. And while you're gathering this, you're thinking of your spell. There are certain colors, candles, certain flowers of the season, and certainly you're preparing by looking at your calendar. Now I have a witch calendar, tells where the planets are, you know, and you are looking at the moon. Do I want to do it during a waxing moon, a waning moon, a full moon, the dark of the moon, the new moon? And you know your moons. Waning moon, I want to release and get rid of. Waxing moon, I want to grow into abundance. Full moon can be a kind of a beautiful, I'm blessed. It can be a wonderful time to acknowledge and count your blessings. And it can be when you're really creating. So you have this and you have it on your altar. All of this is on your altar. And you're sitting down. Now, an altar is that sacred space. It isn't a place where you throw your keys and you put your groceries that when you come in the door. An altar is separate. Those that do spells have a sacred space. So there you are with your sacred space. And you have put all your objects out there. And now, before you begin your spell, you must cleanse yourself. Now, you could cleanse yourself if you're doing, I call this kind of like the Catholic Mass and then high Mass. Sometimes you have high spells, you know, and you're really, really working it. Then you go and you can take your bath, your rose water bath, you cleanse yourself. You put on something even magical, maybe your crown or your cape. Sky clad, you don't put on anything, but you may put on a pendant, a certain ring, piece of jewelry, a necklace, you know, what you hold as something magical and sacred to you. I have these pearl drop earrings that I bought for myself. I just love them, and I will sometimes put those on. You know, so what is magical to you? Again, you could see you're focused, you've thought about it, you're creating energy, and then you begin your ritual. Now, I know people that do spells, my little muggles that do little spells, and they don't necessarily do them the way I do spells and the way that you would want to do. And that is calling in the four corners of the earth. The sun, the winds, the water, the fire. And it's really very beautiful and magical. You call in the east, the south, the west, and the north, and you draw that circle. So you do create a special place. Where are you going to create it? You're going to say, I am drawing this magical space where nothing I don't want is going to come in this space. I'm safe in this space. I evoke the powers of the east, the south, the west, the north, the powers from above me, below me, and all around me. And I am here creating magic. And the magic is creativity, creation, manifestation. That's about spells. So are you ready for a spell? If you're ready to really do spells, I recommend you get a couple of books that you like, that you relate to, and look at the spells and how they're worded and what they're saying. Look at what you have to gather. There's certain scents, colors, objects, parts of nature. You know, on your on your altar, you're going to have everything that represents all aspects of the four corners. Now, you can have a magical sacred space can be outside. Lots of people that catch spells do it outside, weather permitting. You know, if you're living with other people, you might want to keep your altar private. I mean, I keep my altar private, you know, and then my grandkids come in and want to start moving around my stuff. But I let them sit there, you know, they sit there, they have a good time. And season. Now, here's an altar that I have done for All Hallows Eve. Day of the Dead is all here in this altar. You see the colors. Actually, that's a black candle, an orange candle. I've got wine. I've got incense. I've got the pumpkins there. I have a glass of water over here. You know, everything is there because I am showing that I respect everything that surrounds me in nature, all my physical world, my physical life. I have respect for that. And so that is spells. Spells are powerful. They're direct. You must educate yourself if you're going to really get what you want. Spells do not always happen immediately. You can do 1 day spell, 3 day spell, 7 day spell, 9 day spell, just like when Catholics do a novena 9 times in a row. It's usually once a week. They're praying for a certain thing. You do spells for a certain thing also. And so you have to decide before you go into your spell, how many days are you going to do it? Are you going to do it repetitiously, one after another, consecutively? Or are you going to do it once a week? Going to sit at your altar once a week? You know, you decide, but you've got to do it. I mean, once you make that commitment and you want that magic to be up, vibrating in the heavens and corresponding, then you want to be able to be consistent with what you're doing. Consistent energy is what you want. Now, I said, do spells always work? No. What happens with the spell is if you do a spell and it is beyond your ability to manifest at that time, you might have some beliefs that you're kind of hoping to get over, and you're like, I believe in the spell, and what spells does is it brings things up. I've worked with people with spells. I've taught them how to do spells, and they've said, well, yeah, but all this crap came up, all this thing. And I said, well, you have to work on that first. So let's do a spell for that came up. Say I'm doing a spell for abundance, and all of a sudden I find out I have to pay off some debts. And they go, well, that's not abundance. And I said, but you have to take care of these debts in order to get to the abundance. That's just an example. I'm just giving you an example. If you have a spell and you're doing it on somebody else, you better expect 3-fold times coming back to you. Meaning, if you have a spell and you are in some way causing another harm, then you will have what's called universally karmic 3-fold times. It will come back to you. And trust me, it will. I only did it once. I never did it again. And when you finish your spell, don't look back. You're done with it. There's no need to talk about it. People say, well, why is so much secrecy? No, it's not secrecy. It's that you have shown faith. I don't have to think about this anymore. It's done. It's happening. The universe is vibrating with energy. I'm in the universe. I'm vibrating with that. So don't look back. You snuff out your candles, put your incense, you, in a natural way, remove what was on your altar, your flowers, your candles, everything is safe, ecologically safe, and you do that because you respect nature. So that's about spells. Woo-hoo. One of my favorite subjects. And this is really one of my favorite subjects. Positive affirmations. I have used affirmations since the 70s. Okay. Affirmations. I will guarantee you, if you do an affirmation the way that I will talk to you about, you will see differences. You will see results. Honestly, I do. I say that. Affirmations create and strengthen positive self-image. What are they for? They are to create a power in you, to give you a positive self-image for your beliefs, for the opportunities available to you. You are strengthening that through what you're saying. Now, scientific studies have shown us that what we feed the brain, what we say to the brain through words, through using our language, silently and out loud, the brain begins to change. So they hooked everybody up. That's how they do their studies. And they found that that's an absolute truth. So I'm not feeding you anything that's just in the other cosmic world, though I am feeding you that. But I'm telling you that science is catching up with a lot of us. How do you do a really good, powerful affirmation? I believe in doing one affirmation at a time. I know there's some people who believe they can do two. You don't want to split your message you're doing in the brain. So I really say to you, do one affirmation. Write a short sentence with simple, positive words in present time. Not, I will be happy. When? When are you going to be happy? I will be in love someday. My prince will come or my princess will come. Really? When's that going to happen? I'm going to get healthy. Really? How about today? Why don't you start today? So you must write your affirmation in the positive. Now, there's a difference with writing your affirmation than typing your affirmation. When you write your affirmation, remember in the olden days where you used cursive and you wrote things? Okay, you can print it too. There is an activity in the nerve, running down the nervous system that goes from the brain all the way out your hand. And if you wrote your prayer, you might want to do an affirmation from your prayer. That would really strengthen your prayer. Affirmations are great. I love affirmations. I use them. I just picked one out the other day. Write and speak it aloud at least 3 times a day. Now, when I learned affirmation, they put it as 9 times a day. And you could do 9 times a day. It's up to you, But you have to do it daily for 21 consecutive days. Yikes. So the 21 days has been proven that there is actual change within your habits and your brain when you do something for 21 days. You know that. If you go on a diet 21 days and you just stick to it, your stomach gets used to it, your head gets used to it, your habits are used to it. Okay, that's the 21 days. If you miss a day, just say you're like, really busy, I was too busy, I couldn't do it, you have to start all over. Some of my affirmations have turned into 3 and 4 months. And you know what? That's not a bad thing because you are affirming, you are preparing. I write my affirmation in a journal where I give myself space to write it. I give myself space as I write my affirmation. My creative energy is flowing. That's my affirmation right now. My creative energy is flowing, and it is. I really enjoy sharing and teaching. And as you write it, you could write your doubts. Sometimes I write an affirmation and I have doubts. I have kind of anger, or I don't believe it, or I'm afraid of it. And so journal that out. I'm not sure about this. And if it's not for you, pick another affirmation. Now, I've been using Louise Hay's affirmation for years. I like them, and they're simple. Keep it. Here's one. It is safe to look within. It is safe to look within. I am willing to forgive. I am willing to forgive. I am willing to forgive. I write this, I say it. Let's get another nice simple one. All my relationships are harmonious. Now, I might have a little hard time with that, but I've done it before. I really have. They're all harmonious. Life supports me. So if you could most likely order these, and they're really nice, and you would have a lot of good times with them. They're wonderful affirmations. When I used to do readings, I would have my clients pick an affirmation. Oh, I love life. Isn't that a great one? I love life. You're writing this, you're speaking it aloud. You have to write it, and when you finish writing it, you have to speak it aloud. And we'll talk about that. Why do you speak things aloud? It's a vibration, again. So when I first learned affirmations, and you might want to take a note on this, what I did with affirmations is that I learned to say, I am a creative being. June is a creative being. She is a creative being. Writing it 3 times each way. Now, why do we do that? Because I believe it. I am. I am is a powerful 2 words to use when you create affirmations, by the way. I am a powerful woman. I am a powerful man. Then you say your name. Mary is a powerful woman. Greg is a powerful man. And why do you do that? Because that's the messages we get in life. When we're growing up, those that are parents or grandparents, friends, church, society, they'll say, hey, you know what? You know what, Bobby? You're really a crack-up. You're great with jokes. Okay, so we learned a message. And why do you say she or he? Because people talk about you. Little kids, you got to be careful. Little kids are hearing you say, oh, I'm really worried. He's just like how his grandfather was, so stubborn. Well, that little kid goes, oh, I'm stubborn. So these are messages, and you want to have that message go into your brain and begin an actual transformation of your thoughts, and your thoughts become your words, and your words become your habits, your actions, your habits. I can't say enough about affirmation. I really hope you all use affirmations. Spells are only for certain people. Not everybody's first spell, and spells aren't for everybody, but they are wonderful. But affirmations, absolutely. So, whew. You feeling it? You feeling good? You got that energy going? I do. Mantras. Mantra is a Sanskrit word, which is an old language, an older word from India. And it literally means a sacred utterance. It's an orally transmitted poetic hymn. It's simple, with powerful words or phrases meant to transform your consciousness. It's absolutely an excellent way to calm the mind, the body, and the soul. And just think about this. Mantras, a practice to calm the mind, the body, and the soul. Neuroscientists equipped with advanced brain imaging tools are quantifying and confirming some of the health benefits of this ancient practice, such as the ability to help free your cluttered mind, to clear and be aware, have a clear mind. It calms your nervous system, your body tensions, they begin to evaporate. Your heart rate decreases. This is a fact. And you become peaceful and relaxed. You can chant a mantra with your prayers. You can chant a mantra with your spells. You can chant a mantra with your affirmation. Your affirmation can be your mantra if you keep it short and simple and powerful. You can chant throughout the day, spoken aloud, under your breath, while you're driving your car, while you're waiting for somebody. And it guides and connects you to your true self. You transcend any state of consciousness, and you are speaking to your true self. In essence, you become your mantra. And when the job of one mantra is finished, another mantra will come to you. It will be revealed. You don't even have to go search it. All of a sudden, it will come to you as you reprogram your brain and you transform and transcend. Why are you going to do repetition? And why are you going to speak aloud? When you speak aloud, it begins a vibration. When you did the Om, you start a vibration. Your voice vibrates. Not only within, but your outer ears hear you. Actually, when you sit at your altar or in nature and you're doing a mantra, you will hear the vibration around you. And even more, as you do this, you will see colors of vibrations, auras. Honestly, do this, repeat this, and do this. Reverberating in and out of you, it comforts everything. You are familiar with it. You're expressing your whole being. It's a personalized sound wave. Your prayer is a sound wave. Your spell is a sound wave. Your affirmation is a sound wave as soon as you speak it out loud. And mantra, a sound wave. They're beautiful. Once you start doing them daily, you will do them. I mean, now I'm doing them, sometimes I'm in a hurry and I just don't really have that whole half hour for meditation in the morning, and I do a few, but I always do my mantra. It's a powerful tool for creating and manifesting. Well, repetitious is very effective in drawing in appropriate telepathic vibrations. Repetition, praying repetitiously. Remember the 9 novenas or the 9 days, spells 3, 7, 9, however you want to do it. So these repetitious letters, words, sounds, in the same form that you've been doing them, begins an intense network of energy that is ever-changing series of sounds. And the universe is listening to you. Meditation, sacred space. Don't forget to use your meditation. It's a beautiful partner to prayer, a beautiful partner to spells, and also wonderful for affirmations. And after you do your mantra, you will fall naturally into a quiet space of meditation.